So a bunch of people will be watching the recording too, so we'll get started. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Chad, physical therapist and strength coach, practicing about 23 years, and have been leveraging multiple streams of income. One of which being highlighted what we'll be talking about tonight: network marketing and isogenics, and excited about where this company's going. I think we're infusing this company with some really positive energy right now. And I'd like to introduce Taylor Peters. He's living currently in a small town in Ohio. No, I'm sorry. He used to live in a small town in Ohio. He's now living in St. Pete, Florida, which is a lot warmer in
Okay.
the winter months. And living with his wife, Kayla, works as a remote electrical engineer. And your home office is awesome, man. I love that background. I want to
Thank
get
you.
something like that back here.
Thank you.
He's
Thank
building, he's been building his isogenics business for 4 years, and his vision is to impact millions of people, millions of lives, and create a new family legacy, not only for himself, but other people around him. And I think we're building some really good momentum right now, for sure. Loves the beach, healthy living, and leveraging the network marketing profession and the business model that we got going here. So what we want to do tonight is I would think everyone would agree there's a lot of negativity out there. I mean, you turn the TV on, you watch the news, you pick up the paper, social media. I mean, social media is riddled with all this negativity. And what Taylor and I look to do on a weekly basis is just spread some positive energy and some energy of no matter what the economy is, you can take control and take the bull by the horns and make things happen for yourself and your family. And ultimately, which we'll be talking about in a second here, create your own economy. And that has to do with multiple streams of income. So it's not just having a job. Used to be you have a job, you work to your, I don't know, 55, retire at 55, you're good to go. It's not like that anymore. And I think creating multiple streams of income is pretty fun, to be honest with you, especially when you surround yourself with some really cool people. So, Taylor, we'll let you share your story, then I'll ask you a few questions.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the introduction, Chad. And I think yeah, when you talk about defining your own economy, my mind always flashes back to where I was raised again in small town Ohio, and the beliefs that I was taught, the financial intelligence that I was raised with, and I just that was a person who was victim to the economy, right? To whatever the outside world was doing, I was super reactive to that. Whatever was going on outside of me, I just had to deal with it, right? When I got into personal development, I learned not just about the mindset of becoming a successful person, an accessible business person, and an individual in general, but also like how to learn these skills and how to stack these skills on top of it. And one of the kind of the phases that I went through was like, okay, I'm in network marketing. I need to learn about networking. I need to learn about communication. Okay, now I'm in communication. Now I need to learn how to be a leader. Okay, now I'm in business. Now I need to learn about money. And as I'm getting into this rabbit hole of like learning about these skills and stacking my knowledge with these books, like I got heavily into the mental mindset of becoming like just a rich individual, like how to be successful with money and actually build out a successful financial blueprint. One of the key books that really did that to me, the first time I read it was back in 2020, beginning 2020, and it was T. Harv Eker's Secret to the Millionaire Mind. That was one of the best books that I read about just upgrading my financial IQ and like my money mindset. So whenever you think about successful people, like it doesn't matter what's going on in the outside world. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing, the price of gas is doing. It doesn't matter what the president doing. It doesn't matter what the government's doing. It really doesn't matter because you are so much in control of your circle of influence that everything that you can touch is in your control. Your income is in your control if you're a business person. Your circle of influence is in your control. What you consume on a daily basis, that's all in your control. So that to me is like creating my own economy is everything that's around me, and what I allow into my head and what I allow to influence me, that to me is my economy. And every single person on this call, watching, recording, every single person is able to control their own environment and their own economy. So what this means to us as business people is what are your inputs that are dictating your outputs? If your outputs aren't there, obviously you need to change the inputs. So to me, it makes a lot of sense to be able to look at the results and let it determine how you need to be changing your actions or your inputs. So that's what creating my own economy to me is, Chad. It kind of, for me, it goes a little bit farther than just finances and just income. But I would also like to hear what you think about this. What's your definition of creating your own economy, and what that has looked like for you over the past 10 years that you've been with Isogenics?
To piggyback what you said, it's about having a job, but your job being your investor. And when your job is your investor, that means you have other pockets, other buckets that you're putting that money into. So yes, you're paying bills, but you got money going into different streams of income so that, like you said, you're not impacted by things going on around you. But Bob Proctor talks about living life from the inside out versus the outside in. If you're outside in, granted, there's a deeper meaning to that. But if you talk inside out versus outside in, if you're living a financial life that's outside in, you're depending on everyone around you. If you're living a financial life from the inside out, you're making the changes in your life and you're taking the action to fill those buckets. And sometimes, I mean, you'll go to YouTube and you'll go to Instagram, you go to Facebook, and you're pinged in your emails, you're pinged with all of these opportunities day in, day out, 5, 10, 15 opportunities every day. And you can sit there and spend time sifting through them. And all of a sudden you have a list of 20 opportunities. You can write a book, you can create this business, you can do this YouTube channel, you can do all this kind of stuff. And it can get overwhelming because there's so much out there. And some of it's really good. But as you sift through that, you really have to, and we're going to get into the consistency piece. When you find something that really resonates with you, become very consistent with the actions that you take so that when it comes to creating your own economy, you focus on the ones that you know are going to give you the best ROI and can help you fill those buckets. So it's
100%.
it's not having it's not being impacted by people around you. Like John, when you're coaching an athlete, you want that athlete to be as strong as they can possibly get. So if it's a running back, when they're running through the line, nothing's going to knock them off their game. I mean, they're driven from below. They have their stability. So when you can create your own economy, you're not you're not impacted by stuff going on around you. Can you expand on inputs versus outputs for people who haven't heard that before?
Yeah, I follow a guy named Alex Ramosi, which a lot of you probably know. He defines leverage as the difference between inputs and outputs in a system. So if you can see and you can measure your outputs, for example, I was doing a ton of calls. I had a different system that I was running off of last year, and I would do a minimum of 10 calls per week. And out of those 10 calls, I would usually at least get 2 enrollments. Usually it was easy. I had my calendar right here beside my desk. Every time I would complete a call with somebody who wasn't enrolled in Isogenics, I'd put a tally mark on that day of the week. If Monday through Friday, those calls stacked up to at least 10 check marks, I would get at least 2 enrollments, which I would star. It was really easy to see my results that way because I was measuring my inputs, and that was basically dictating my outputs. As soon as those calls started dipping below 5 to 10 a week, obviously the results started to follow right there with them. You know what I mean? So those are, to me, Chad, is what the inputs are, is something that you can control. And I've always been taught to reward yourself based off your inputs instead of your results, because those are what you can control. You can't always control the timing of a prospect that says yes. You can't always control the timing of a customer that wants to get started on the products and their financial situation and their home situation, whatever it is. That's stuff that's out of your control. But what is in your control is your daily method of operations, your consistency, your habits, your IPAs on a daily basis, like all of that stuff. And we'll get into consistency too. But I think those are all things that you can measure, and you can see what are my actions that I'm taking and putting into the system, and what results am I getting out of it.
Cool. Thank you for clarifying that. And to consistency, when you do find that opportunity that makes sense to you, that you resonate with, that you know you can put some time into, and you'll get that ROI, how important is consistency when it comes to your daily actions that you're taking to succeed within that particular project or business?
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of people that don't understand the consistency in network marketing are just shooting themselves in the foot. And what I mean by this, I learned a lot about consistency about throughout my younger life. Really, I wrestled from the time I was 4 years old till I graduated high school at 18 years old, and that is a sport that demands a lot of you physically and mentally. And the thing that I learned from that sport is you have to be consistent. You know, our season is in the winter months between like November to the end of March, but there's really no off season because you should be wrestling year round. You're going to camps, you're going to off season practices, and you're doing all this stuff, scrimmages and stuff like that. Like the consistency piece is what builds up over time to allow you to perform whenever you need it. So, and went to junior high states my eighth grade year, and then senior year my 160 pounds went to state, was top 12 in the state my senior year. And I think I contribute all of that to being able to be successful. And I was able to see this really closely within my family, big wrestling family. My dad was the first high school state champion in our family. My whole family is wrestlers, and like they're all just hyper consistent with workouts, exercise, sports, drilling, technique, whatever it is. And I was able to model that. And I think a lot of us, it's really important who we surround ourselves with within our business world or within our team. So we're able to model that consistency. And whenever I think about the importance of consistency in network marketing, there's a certain analogy that was taught to me by a guy named Scott Peterson. If you guys know him, he taught us this analogy when we were up in northern Michigan, Traverse City. This was 2021. We had a private event up there, probably had 50, 60 people in the room. He was up on stage, and it was like the most brilliant analogy that I could imagine to describe network marketing. He said the network marketing escalator is basically, if you can picture it, he had a graphic on the screen, but basically your first year or two in network marketing is like walking up a down escalator. And what does that mean? What are you doing as soon as you're walking up and down escalator? You're working a little bit harder. You're working a little bit harder. You're not getting as far. You're not getting as far. But guess what happens as soon as you stop? You go right back down to the bottom. And that's what happens in the first couple of years of network marketing. But with that consistency, you're able to get up to the second floor where at least you're not going backwards. There's a second floor where it kind of plateaus and you can just walk normal. You can walk normal without going backwards. And of course, you're getting more results for your efforts. And as soon as you get to the third level, you're walking up and up escalator. So therefore, you're doing even a little bit more, just a little work, and you're getting more and more and more results. And you're going faster, and you're going faster, and you're going faster. And you get to the fourth floor, and you get into the elevator, and you just go straight to the top. That's what I see network marketing as, its consistency. And it's always made a lot of sense to me, because if I'm going to put my time and effort into it, it better be worth it. And what do I see as worth it is this business model, 100%. If you can build up an asset of a client base and partners that have the same mindset as you, where you're constantly growing yourself, you're constantly helping other people win and succeed and have results in the products and make extra money or whatever it is, all those things are super rewarding to me. But also the financial asset that we're building, guys, this asset is something that you can pass on to your family members whenever you die. Like, this is literally a legacy company. You can build up a substantial business, making millions of dollars a year if you want to. You could just pass that asset down to your kids. It's unbelievable. So that's what I'm really excited about, Chad, is something that we can grow and build and have forever, that is super fruitful and super rewarding, because that's what I want to work toward. I don't want to work toward a certain level of growth in my organization where I get capped in my income. I don't want to work for a business that eventually, whenever I die and pass away, all that income just goes to someone else. Like, I want something I can build forever and have forever. If that makes sense.
Makes 100% sense. And when you do get pinged with all those different opportunities online or in person or wherever you're finding these opportunities, when you dig in and you compare a business model or a comp plan to the one that Isagenix offers, it's, in a lot of cases, it's no comparison. I mean, I've seen some where I try and dig into it, and it's very difficult to understand. This one is easy to understand, and it's so powerful at the same time.
Yeah, Jim Rohn is one of my favorite mentors in this business, and he says he always says it's simple, but it's not easy. Super simple to understand, but the consistency and the work and things you got to put into it may be a little bit more difficult, right? It's not easy, but it's worth it. Have you seen people that kind of get that shiny object syndrome, where they kind of come into the business, they have big dreams, big talk, and they're doing the thing, and they get distracted by this next opportunity, they hop to this one, and they hop to this one? Like, have you
Yep.
seen that in your 10 years?
Yep. Yep. And I've seen people who try two at the same time. They'll try two different opportunities at the same time, but a what is the saying? I think if you try and chase two hares, you get none or something like that.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
got to put your energy into something, not some things. So now, what are your daily IPAs for network marketing for Isogenics?
Yeah, something this is also yeah, this has also been super easy for me to understand too. I feel like I just have a very analytical mindset where I'm able to directly see the needle moving activities ahead of me. Like some people, I know other people from different companies, and they'll preach to their team, get on social media and make this post and make this reel and like do all this stuff. I'm like, to me, that's not income producing activities. And I would never teach my team that that is income producing activities. What is income producing activities to me is constantly reaching out, making new connections, constantly being able to have those connections that I'm sending invites to. Hey, working on something super exciting. Would you be open to checking it out? Whether it's product related or business related, sending them information and scheduling a phone call or a Zoom call with them. Like that is what is income producing activities to me. I have weekly events, whether it be just a social hour where I'm making new connections, or just yesterday, every Tuesday now for these next 6 weeks, I'm hosting a outdoor fitness workout within our meetup group. Have a little product table set up. I'm giving away samples and stuff like that, having people fill out their name for more information. So that to me is just like growing my business. Those are income producing activities where I'm making new connections, having new conversations, exposing more people to the name of Isogenics. How many people am I telling people about my business this week? How many people am I inviting to check out the products or the business model this week? Like those are all things that are income producing. So like I said, those are things that you can measure, and those are things that you can reward yourself on, because you can't always reward yourself. You can't always count on rewarding yourself on the results, but you can measure the inputs that you can reward yourself on. So if you have a goal, 10 new connections a week, you make those 10 new connections, you can feel good about yourself, whether you get any results out of those or not. You make 10 new invites this week, have 2 events this week, or Super Saturday or whatever it is. Like those are all things that you can do, measure, and feel proud about.
And the shiny object syndrome is more challenging. It's especially when it comes to the consistency in the IPAs. Because if you got a couple different things going at once, now all of a sudden you got double the amount of IPAs and your energy's taken, because we only have so much energy to expend in a day. So
100% agree.
now the last question, we got a few more minutes left, is regarding stress. We started the call talking about the negativity that's out there, the stress, the overwhelming info that we get coming at us social media wise, in person, on TV, papers. What is your daily routine when it comes to combating stress? Is it getting up early in the morning? Is it certain activities you do throughout the day?
Yeah, there's a couple parts that play into this for me in my daily basis, Chad, because some of them are proactive and some of them are reactive. So in my morning routine, one of the first things I do in the morning is I sit down and meditate for at least 5 minutes, usually 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Focus on my breathing, just in my head, in my safe space. It's super quiet. I got earbuds in, listen to meditation music. And what that does to me is it might not seem like a lot in the moment, and it doesn't feel like it's a huge shift. Nothing, there's not fireworks going off. It's not something amazing, but how you're able to feel over those next couple hours after your meditation, you're much more calm, you're much more centered. And to me, it's like putting up your armor for the day. After you get down there and you do your morning routine, whether it's morning journaling or meditating or reading your daily reader like I have, those are all things that help you prepare your mindset for whatever's about to happen that day. Whether you have the best day ever or the worst day ever, you're still prepared either way. So meditation to me is something that I've been doing very consistently for 4 years now. And again, it's like a habit. It's that little skill, it's that little muscle that just keeps compounding a little bit over time, making my mental toughness a little bit stronger, making my inner peace a little bit stronger. And I always have that going back to it. Sometimes I meditate in each morning, and it's pretty much usually all I do. But sometimes it just feels like I'm living life in between meditations sessions. It's kind of funny, like, oh, I'm back in this space again. It feels so good. I just want to be here. You know what I mean? It's just such a great feeling. So that to me is a very proactive way that I combat stress. but I also have a lot of reactive ways too, because in the thick of it, I usually plan all my calls in the mid afternoon between 2 and 5, and back to back calls. Sometimes they're not going the way you want them to, or sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes they reschedule. Sometimes you get on with this person and you don't know what you're talking about. Like all of these ways are really quickly can stack up to be a very stressful afternoon for you. So sometimes if I have a break, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, I need to be without my phone. That's usually the number one thing that stresses me out. So I'll throw my phone across the room onto the bed, and I'll go out in the backyard. I'll just sit with my dogs and just breathe the air, feel like I like being outside when I'm in a state of mind like that, because outside to me is just so expansive and allows my mind to open up and get outside of this little room that I'm in and I feel really congested in. So being outside is definitely one for me. Going on a walk, going to the gym is a huge way that I relieve stress. But also, we have amazing products too. So I always lean into Adaptogen Elixir. Those are all ways that I'm able to actively combat stress on a reactive basis. And there's probably a ton of ways that you guys have played with that get into a proactive state, whether it's like again working out first thing in the morning, meditating, reading, whatever that is. Those are all ways that has really helped me. How about you, Chad?
Me, it's getting up early. It's got to be getting up early by 5 o'clock and getting a workout in right out of the gate. And meditation is big as well. So I'll do a quick meditation walking meditation while I'm walking the dog, and then I'll get back and get a workout in. But that just sets the tone for the day. And then throughout the day, I'll have my goal card in my pocket. So if I hit a stressful point in the day, I'll just read my goals. And as I'm reading my goals, I'm breathing into the moment, being very mindful. Because they say you want to write your goals down morning and night, right? When you get up in the morning before you go to bed at night. So I'll pull that card out when I'm most stressed out. The breathing is huge. I think that's the magic bullet to life is the breathing. So I'll do that. And usually allows for a decrease in cortisol levels as they're starting to increase.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely important to monitor those cortisol levels and get the natural dopamine releases from whatever you want to be doing, working out,
Mm-hmm.
reading, playing guitar, surrounding yourself with awesome people, playing pickleball,
Love pickleball.
and winning.
I
Pickleball.
try to win as much as I can.
John and I played tonight, and we were that close to winning, but there's a lot of good spin you can get on that ball. So we did that, or I do that.
Oh yeah,
So just
they're
a
finding
bunch
new
of
ways to hit
stuff.
that ball every week.
Yeah, you're a big pickleball, right, Taylor?
Yeah, I usually play twice a week. My partner was out of town today. I usually play on Wednesday evening. I usually play Saturday morning, but we'll get back out there Saturday mornings.
It's a blast, man.
It is the best. Again, that goes back to exercise. To me, most of the time when I exercise, especially playing pickleball, that's just a great way for my mental health. You know what I mean? It's not so much physical anymore. It's like had a rough day. Okay, well, I'm going to play pickleball, so that's something I can look forward to and feel good about at the end of the day. But I wanted to go back a question, Chad, and actually ask you what your IPA looks like on a daily basis of those income producing activities. I'm sure you have a pretty good habit routine laid out over the past 10 years. So I'd love to hear that.
Old school. It's a wire notebook, and I open up a brand new page each day, put the date at the top of the page, and then I just list down people that I'm contacting regarding business, just new people I'm communicating with, taking some notes, and whether it's a follow up new individual to track and just keep conversation going. Because like any business, you want to be certain that you got your facts straight, that you're tracking, and follow up is tremendously important. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm old school, so I got binders, and I just if I'm noticing that I'm hitting a little plateau, I'll just go back into my binder and reach out to people that I may not have reached out to for a little while. I'll transfer some to digital, but usually it's just old school, writing it down. Obviously, communicate with people with my phone and computer, but meeting new people face to face is huge too.
Mm-hmm.
But the IPAs are 10 contacts, 10 reach outs a day. And if I get more time, I spend more time on it. LinkedIn's been really big. Meeting with a lot of professionals and
Yep.
other physical therapists, strength coaches, and just business people on there.
Mm-hmm.
On the topic of stress, John Anderson, God rest his soul, when he was asked what would be his, not if he was on a deserted island, all the things that this particular company, Isagenix, offers, what would he want as his one product if he was on a deserted island? And his response was Ionic Supreme, because it has the high quality adaptogens in there. There's a bunch of products with the adaptogens in there, but he mentioned the Ionics because that was the first one. That was the first formulation of the adaptogens to help the body effectively deal with stress. And to this day, it's a phenomenal product.
Oh man, it's unbelievable. It's almost unchanged pretty much since it came out, right? Because it's that good. It was that good when he created it, and I can freaking attest to that, man. Like it's so subtle, like at combating your stress whenever you consume it, that you can really tell whenever you don't take it how much it helps you, right? So in situations like that, starting something new, doing a lot of events or conversations or phone calls or whatever, those are, I never go a day without it anyway, but it's crucial to have your extra helping that day, and especially like moving from Ohio down to Florida. I mean, like moving is already very stressful, but in those times of like drastic change like that, I've always leaned to Ionic Supreme, and it's helped me tremendously.
Huge. Anyone have a quick question? We got a couple of minutes if we got a quick question, and then we'll close out for today. No questions, it's fine too.
I'd just like to learn more about it. Like you sent me the sample stuff, so we'll go from there.
Yep.
You know,
Awesome.
Definitely. And I'll
like
send.
I said, at 42, I had a heart attack. So,
Wow.
Was dead, woke up 6 days later. So I lucked out. So
6 days later, man, holy smokes.
yeah, I was strength coach at University of Pennsylvania when it happened.
Good Lord, man. That's crazy.
But
But
you
that
want
was
to talk about stress, you make 8 moves in 10 years, your job is based on 18-year-olds to 22-year-olds, you know. You get, you have a great year, you keep your job, you have a bad year, you get fired.
Wow. Man, that's stress to the max. I can only imagine, dude. There's no wonder. Probably a pretty eye-opening experience for you, huh, John?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys talk about, is now it's one of those things is everything that you don't have control of, you can't worry about, can't stress over. The little things you just can't. They'll
Yep.
kill you.
Yep. I'm a big reader about the Stoic philosophy, and I have a book called The Daily Stoic, and that's one of the number one things it taught me, man. It was like, focus on the things you can't control and let go of what you can't. And I promise it'll just make your life so much better. You know what I mean? Specifically the news. I was never really big news watcher at first all my life, but now I actively stay away from it. That was one of the first things that Dean Graziosi talked about in the first personal development book I ever read, Millionaire Success Habits, was, okay, let's go on if you're into news, go on a 30-day news detox. See how your life reacts to that. See how much happier you are. See how much more stress-free you are. See how much more just lighter you feel. The news just weighs you down with so much negativity and so much shit that you don't need to know or even care about, that I promise it will just increase the quality of your life in a drastic way right away.
Yep.
Awesome. Taylor, thank you so much. John, thanks for that input, man. I'll get information for you. There's a great site, isagenixhealth.net. It's got a load of science-based information. I'll send
Okay,
some info off to you.
I'll start looking at it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And outside of that, we'll meet up next Wednesday. We like to keep the topics. I mean, obviously the primary topic here is just keeping it positive, keeping a good vibe, and keeping it business oriented about creating your own economy, increasing cash flow. But we're going to do this on a week-to-week basis. And anyone you want to invite on here, more than welcome. Thank you, everyone. We'll close out.
Awesome.
Have an awesome week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Nice meeting you, Taylor.
Nice. And you too, John.
Absolutely.
Chad, thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Thank you
All
guys
right,
very
Chad,
much.
Talk to you
Thanks,
later.
John.